Good morning. Hey, everybody. Just crazy here. Good morning, everybody. Let's get it together. Lights, camera, no action. Who would you trust more, Mike Franzese or Sammy the Bull Gravano? Me? Well, that's what we're here for. Sit back, get a cup of coffee. Mike Franzese, Sammy the Bull. Mike Franzese, Sammy the Bull. I don't have any use for neither one of them mofos, but I'll piggyback their names on thumbnails all day long because they're rotten themselves. Forgive me. Mike Franzese running around, this pristine Mike Franzese, and then you see Sammy the Bull. Hey, Leon. And Mike portrays and tries to personify and emulate a certain personality for his viewers. And that's fine. That's completely fine. And nobody's perfect. I'm a Christian, supposed to have forgiveness and don't throw stones. I understand all that. But we're going to throw a couple stones anyways because I'm bored and I got too much time on my hands. Too much time. So, Mike Franzese, you got to remember, okay, let me establish, when he was younger, what his father was doing. His father got out of prison when he was, 100 years old? So they were going to the prisons all the time. The feds and the FBI and everybody was around as a teenager coming up. He was going to go to be a medical student or a doctor or something. Mike Franzese was going to go that road. But then he was the son of I can't even think of his father's name, Sonny Franzese. And then he was groomed and born for that job. But Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull were way more in bed with the FBI than all you YouTubers out there and anybody that goes on all those channels. More so. And then when they got on Vlad's channel, they were going back, who was a rat, who wasn't. Mike Franzese was in a prison. Mike was in prison and he was in the hole, quote unquote. And he tells marvelous stories and wonderful stories, bedtime stories, and they're entertaining and they're interesting. Just like Little Red Riding Hood. So Mike Franzese, when I was running around in the past with that crew and other things were happening, I knew the FBI agent. I knew that I was close to an FBI agent. And those people, the captains, the bosses, when I told Sam, the ladies, this FBI agent's coming to the office, blah, 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 this and that. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to have a cup of coffee with her, blah, 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 blah. It was a frightful period of time. I went to the church and lit the candles and everything else. But it was like, oh, yeah, I already know. How do you already know? How do you already know? What about Mike Franzese? Oh, don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. What? Then Mike and Sammy the Bull get on there and talk about who's the bigger rat. Well, Sammy the Bull Gravano is the international rat of the millenniums. It's highly publicized, his name. Mike Franzese is just a big, and you don't even know, they have the coffer proffer 401 and all that, where you could go see the minutes from the FBI. It's all blacked out. And plus, they don't even put all the information in those proffers because there was no rules that, if you're a YouTube channel viewer and you want to get the facts on something, that's the go-to information source to get that information. Don't be suckers. Don't be suckers. There is stuff that will never be revealed on the record in those proffers, off the record by these guys, Mike and Sam, and it will never be discussed. They were rats before the world knew they were rats. These people survived the many years. Mike Franzese, clean cut, very intelligent, made $1 billion off the tax scheme. And they get up there, and he gets up there, and he tells a narrative about what his dealings were with the FBI. Well, I'll tell you one thing: when they were running that Colombo family, and they were running a lot of rackets, the FBI is a given in the mafia, in the crime families, and everything else. The FBI is a given. It is a given. Whether some are being bribed or not, I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility. Whether some were doing certain things to leverage one person or family against another, moral tactics or immoral tactics, but they were in bed. So Sammy the Bull was did what he did. John Gotti, well, John, rest his soul, he passed away not that long after anyways. So Sammy the Bull was a rat, but poor John Gotti passed away. It wasn't like John Gotti got to live, do a natural life sentence. But Mike Franzese, either, you don't have to go on the record and testify in front of a panel or something. Hey, how you doing, Mo? They have a lot of ways to snag somebody up. There's traditional ways to get the gangsters, and there's not traditional ways. Mike Franzese, he was so sharp, and they had the Norby Walters, and there's a lot of controversy and everything. And Mike Franzese he's so smart as far as dealing with other gangsters and dealing with the law, and he's so smart that he can assess every angle and see what's best for him. And of course, he made $1 billion in that racket. But Mike Franzese, you would say, well, I trust Mike Franzese more than Sammy the Bull Gravano. Well, Sammy the Bull Gravano had his back up against the wall, and in maybe 9 out of 10 other situations, Sammy the Bull Gravano might have said, well, I'm not going to cooperate this time or whatever. But maybe people don't understand, or maybe, who knows, Mike Franzese might have had a better relationship throughout the years with the FBI. When the agents, the agents might not always be on the record or whatever. There's something like that. I mean, it's just not everything you see. You don't think some of the agents saw some of these guys, man, hey, they wait for Mike or something outside of his house. Mike, come here, let's take a walk, blah, 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 this and that. We're not on, no, there's no wires, there's no nothing. And it's like, we know all about your schemes and rackets and everything else, and you made a ton of money. There's something coming down, a couple indictments or something. We could just make them go away. Maybe we might need 200,000, hypothetically speaking. Is that so off the wall to think that those scenarios might have happened? And if it did happen, what do you think Mike Franzese would say? Yeah, that's my pocket change, 250,000. That's pocket change. So Mike Franzese or Sammy the Bull, then they got on VLAD. They were MFing each other. It was all for sales of the DVD. It was all blown up. But with that being said, they still don't like each other anyways. They just grabbed that money that they robbed from the viewers to buy that DVD and VLAD and all his bullshit. They just take advantage of the stupid viewers' greed for bullshit. And that's the way I look at it. I wouldn't pay $1 for their shit. What's the name of your shop, Mo? You could put it, I don't know, you could put it on there. What is there, only one smoke shop? So I look at that stuff, and yeah, everybody's hustling. Like I say, they're hustlers and gangsters. And what do you expect? Okay, Smoke City. I'll get up there within a week, Mo. So that's not far-fetched to be like, why would they do that? But at the end of the day, I trust Mike Franzese a little more. Because underneath it all, there's more compassion in Mike Franzese's DNA. There's more compassion and more humanity in than Sammy the Bull, who no. Yeah, I had some controversy when I was up in the falls, going back and forth, and then my godfather straightened it out, and Mike Franzese was around for a half a minute. Mike Franzese wasn't out. I mean, he came on that, he did a show, or he did an interview, but Mike Franzese was the thinker. He wasn't out and about. Sammy the Bull was walking the block every day, up and down there. John Gotti, they loved the action. They loved it. Look, we're movie stars, they thought they were. And the FBI is just going cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Microphones everywhere. They put microphones on all the telephone poles and everything else. Mike Franzese would never let that happen. Never. Never. So I'd mostly say, Mike Franzese was the smartest gangster, one of the smartest gangsters, and of course, one of the most successful gangsters who made the most money ever. You could put all the other gangsters in the history of mafia. You could add it all up. It's not gonna equal what Mike Franzese made. And to me, the money is what you would judge who was the slickest gangster. Forget about FBI and all this other stuff. Money, that means you were sharp enough to come up with a racket and accumulate that money. Not by how many people got whacked and that's a good, successful crime family. No. Mike Franzese is a good communicator. He's got his followers, and he was the guy that the Russians you can't give him all the credit because the Russians actually were in on that stuff. But the Russians were the founders of that concept of the gas scheme. But Mike Franzese marketed it and blew it up exponentially to a higher level. But Mike Franzese, it's self-preservation. Mike Franzese did what he had to do, like all the gangsters did. And not all, I mean, there was old school gangsters that didn't inform, they didn't narc, they went to jail and did their hard time. Mike Franzese was in jail for whatever period of time he said he was. Swampland. But who cares? That's the way it is. So that's that. What happened, Mo? All your messages got retracted. I just came in from the smoke shop. I just came. Got the Senecas. I gotta quit this shit. Gotta quit smoking for New Year's. But, oh well. Oh, all right. That's cool. That's cool. That's fine, bro. So, I just want to talk about, who would you trust more? My personal opinion. Well, I will, man. I will. My personal opinion, I'd have to trust Mike more. Mike Franzese. Even though I think Sammy the Bull has the impression of being anti-law enforcement, they saved him. They saved him, and he had a good relationship. But Mike Franzese could probably cut a better deal. He's more of a negotiator, more of a strategist. So that could be an asset. Or you say, well, I don't trust him even more because but I'd say that could be an asset as far as that goes. Thanks, Mo. And I see it like that. But I mean, Mike, they're both. See, it's hard to rate one against the other because they had a consistent relationship with the FBI. Both of them. And when they say go to those records and he talks about Norby and all that and what's in the FBI record, you can't, that's not the bottom line and all source of info that's going to tell you the truth. And they try to make that as a go-to because that could be fabricated. That's not the sacred holy grail of factual information. It's a lot of it's doctored up, and if you go to look at that, it's all blacked out. There's 4 paragraphs, and all you see is 2 sentences that aren't blacked out. So, come on. You only know the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these gangsters and the relationship with the FBI and how they spoon feed you folks about all this stuff to give you a different perception of reality. And it's a show, so it's entertaining. So everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. So that's entertainment. That's social media. And he's selling everything under the sun. Sammy the Bull Gravano, he's got writers and editors and everything else. They got the money to put into that. Sammy the Bull Gravano has writers. They might just give you a foundation story, and then they say, Sammy, okay, back, what about this? And then they'll go, oh, this might be good. What about, that guy in the other story? Throw him in here, and let's add this on and everything. And they present a perfect little story wrapped up in a nice package. And that's good marketing. That's good marketing. Lying his ass off, but it's good marketing. Mike Franzese has got more money to throw around than a real Hollywood movie budget. So he's got all the editors and producers and writers and everything else, but he's a good storyteller. He's writing his stuff. They might tweak it a little more. Mike's more well-versed in that kind of stuff. Now listen, he says. Now listen, Billy and Sally. Now listen. No, you listen, you lying. Forgive me. So, I wouldn't trust either one of them. But if it came push to shove with more of a humanistic side of something, I'd lean toward Mike Franzese. And there's other reasons for that too, and it's in the other videos. I'm not going to go there now, but I'd lean toward him. So that's that, folks. Mo, I'm going to stop up there sometime during the week, next week after the holidays. I'm going to stop up there and come see you. We have a cup of coffee or something. So that's cool. Thanks for your support, Mo. And all right, everybody, hey, get your shopping done. If you're depressed, don't go to chemicals. Stay strong, okay? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the comment, share, and all that. Go to the link to my book on the about of my channel, They Dead Missed. All right, so that's that, folks. I appreciate your support and anybody that comes in here. I want to do something. I'm bored, and see some of you guys. Good to have you back, Leon, and Mo, as always. So thanks a lot, folks. God bless, and take care.